The colony of Virex 9 floated above a dying red star. It was not a home by choice. It was a job. People came here to mine energy crystals, dangerous work, but it paid well enough. The station had no sky, no trees, and no fresh air. Just metal walls, blinking lights, and the hum of machines. William Carter stood at the command center's window. His sharp eyes watched the endless stars outside. He had worked here for 10 years. He knew every hallway, every control panel, every face. As security chief, his duty was simple: keep the people safe. But on this day, safety was impossible. Without warning, the asteroid came. It moved faster than the scanners could track. A massive black rock, spinning through the dark. It smashed into the outer storage bay. The impact shook the entire station. Alarms screamed. Lights flickered. The floor trembled under William's boots. "Damage report," William shouted. His team scrambled. Hands flew over control panels. Screens flashed warnings. "Storage bay 3 is gone," someone said. "Hull breach detected. Life support systems failing." William's heart pounded. He grabbed the station-wide comm. "Attention all crew and families. Move to shelter zones Alpha and Beta immediately. This is not a drill. Move now." People ran through the station. Parents carried children. Workers left their tools behind. The air grew thin. Frost formed on the windows. Oxygen was leaking fast. William knew they had hours, maybe less. He turned to his second-in-command, a woman named Elsie. "Send the distress signal," he ordered. "Send it to everyone. I don't care who picks it up. We need help." Elsie nodded and activated the emergency beacon. The signal blasted into deep space, carrying one simple message. "This is Virex 9. We are under threat. We need immediate assistance. Anyone, please respond." William waited. Minutes felt like hours. He watched the status screens. Oxygen levels dropped. Power flickered. Still, no answer. Some workers began to lose hope. They whispered among themselves. Some said no one would come. Others feared pirates might hear the call first. But then, something appeared on the long-range scanners. Elsie gasped. "We got a ship." William leaned over the screen. The ship's signature appeared. His blood ran cold. It was not a medical ship, not a rescue team. It was Earth Warship B-07 Blackthorn, a Deathworlder vessel. The Deathworlders were feared across the stars. Humans from Earth, tough, cold, and deadly. They were known for surviving where no one else could. Their soldiers were trained for war, not rescue. The room fell silent. Everyone knew the stories. Deathworlders didn't come to save. They came to control. "Should we respond?" Elsie whispered. William stared at the screen. He felt the weight of every life on the station pressing down on him. "Prepare the docking bay," he said quietly. "Let's hear what they have to say." The crew obeyed, but fear filled their eyes. William clenched his fists. He didn't trust the Deathworlders, but they were the only ones who answered. And now they were coming. The people of Virex 9 gathered in the shelter zones. Mothers held their children close. Workers whispered to each other in fear. No one celebrated. No one cheered. The name Blackthorn brought no comfort. William Carter stood in the control center, eyes locked on the scanner. The warship grew larger as it approached. Its surface was black as night, shaped like a dagger. The ship made no effort to slow down until it was nearly on top of them. "They're requesting docking clearance," Elsie reported quietly. William nodded. His voice was calm, but inside his thoughts raced. Why send a warship? Why no medical transport? Why no engineers? He opened the comm line. "This is William Carter of Virex 9. We welcome your help. Please state your purpose." A long pause followed. Static crackled in the speakers. Then a voice answered. "This is Captain Orion Vance of the Deathworlder warship Blackthorn. We have received your distress call. We are here to secure your station." The word secure echoed in William's mind like a warning. No mention of aid. No mention of supplies. No mention of saving lives. Only securing. William pressed the button again. He tried to sound firm. "Our people need medical help and engineers. Our life support is failing. What assistance are you bringing?" Another pause. Vance replied in the same cold tone. "Our orders are to secure your station and ensure its stability. Prepare docking bay 2 for boarding. The comm cut off. William leaned back in his chair. He felt the weight of the captain's words. Vance had avoided the question. That was never a good sign. Elsie stood beside him. What do we do? William looked at the scared faces on the security team. He knew the people in the shelters were waiting for answers too. We open the bay, William said finally. But keep the security team on standby. No weapons drawn yet. Let's see what they want. Minutes later, the massive warship docked with the station. The airlock doors hissed open. Heavy boots echoed on the metal floor. Captain Orion Vance entered first. He was tall, broad-shouldered, and dressed in black armor. His face was cold and unreadable. Behind him, 5 soldiers followed, helmets covering their faces, weapons strapped to their backs. William stepped forward to meet them. He kept his face calm. Captain Vance, William greeted. Welcome to Virex 9. Vance did not offer a handshake. He only gave a short nod. Security Chief Carter, Vance replied. Take me to your command center. William glanced at the soldiers behind Vance. Your team, what are they here for? To assist me in securing your station, Vance answered flatly. William forced himself to stay calm. He turned and led the way. As they walked through the station's halls, people stared from behind sealed doors. Mothers held their children tighter. Workers stopped in their tracks. No one dared speak. At the command center, Vance looked over the damage reports without saying much. He asked no questions about the injured or the families in the shelters. Finally, William spoke again. Captain, with respect, my people need medical help. We have limited oxygen and power. What assistance are you providing? Vance turned to face him. His cold eyes locked on William's. Our mission is not to repair life support or provide medical teams, Vance said. Our mission is to take control of this station and ensure it does not fall into the wrong hands. William felt his stomach twist. We sent a call for help, William said slowly. Not for occupation. Vance didn't flinch. His voice stayed cold and firm. Your distress signal raised concerns in Earth Command. They believe Virex 9 may be at risk of falling under rebel influence. My orders are clear. This station must be secured. William's fists clenched at his sides. We are miners, not rebels, he said through his teeth. Vance took a step closer. Earth doesn't take chances, Vance replied. Prepare your command logs for inspection. My soldiers will begin securing key areas immediately. William felt the air grow heavier. He knew he had no choice but to let them in for now. But deep down, he knew something was wrong. This wasn't rescue. This was control. As Vance and his soldiers spread out across the station, William watched them go. He knew one thing for sure. The real danger had just begun. The heavy footsteps of the Deathworlders soldiers echoed in every hallway. They moved through the station in silence, sealing off sections one by one. They took control of the power room, the communication center, and even the food storage. They locked out the station workers. No one could enter without Vance's permission. William Carter watched helplessly from the control center as his station was taken over without a single shot fired. Elsie stood at his side. Her voice was low but urgent. We can't just let them take everything. Our people are scared, William. They think Earth sent these soldiers to kill us. William ran a hand over his face. He was thinking the same thing, but he couldn't say it out loud. Not yet. I need to know the truth, he said. That night, when the station grew quiet, William made his move. He knew the Blackthorn kept its mission files locked deep inside its systems. Access was restricted. Only the ship's command could open them. But William had spent years learning security systems. He knew where to start looking. He put on a worker's uniform and boarded Blackthorn alone. He told the guards at the airlock he was checking safety systems. They didn't question him. No one ever suspected a miner. Inside the ship, the halls were colder, darker. Every corner felt like a trap. But William kept moving. He reached the command data core. It was locked, of course, but he had a small hacking tool hidden in his glove. He placed it on the lock. The device buzzed softly as it worked. Seconds later, the door slid open. Rows of screens and data pads lined the walls. William moved quickly. He searched the mission logs, digging deeper with every tap on the console. Finally, he found it. Mission orders, Earth High Command. Subject, Virex 9 Colony. Risk level high. Suspected rebellion activity. confirmed. Action. Secure the station. Take full control. Prevent local leadership from spreading rebel influence. Any resistance is to be neutralized. William stared at the words, heart sinking. Earth believed Virex. 9 was planning to rebel. The asteroid strike had nothing to do with it. The SOS had only confirmed Earth's fears. The Blackthorn had not come to help. It had come to claim the station. William copied the orders to his personal device. He shut down the console and slipped out of the data core before anyone noticed. When he returned to the station, Elsie and 3 other trusted workers waited for him in a dark corner of the control center. He showed them the copied orders. Elsie's face turned pale. They're going to take over. They'll kill anyone who gets in their way. William nodded. They've already started. We're locked out of half the station. If we wait any longer, we'll lose everything. One of the workers, Jace, clenched his fists. We can't fight them. They have weapons. We don't. William stood tall, his voice steady. We have the station. We know every hallway, every system. If we act fast, we can stop them before they deploy more soldiers. Elsie swallowed hard. What are you saying? William looked at them all, his choice already made. I'm saying we fight back. We don't let Earth take our home. The room fell silent. Fear hung in the air. But slowly, one by one, they nodded. William knew it wasn't much. For people against a warship. But it was a start, and it was all they had. Virex. 9 was no longer their home. It felt like a prison. Soldiers walked the halls with heavy boots and cold eyes. The workers stayed locked in the shelter zones. Families sat in silence, afraid to speak, afraid to move. William Carter stood by the door of the control center, watching the monitors. Every screen showed the same thing. Blackthorn soldiers taking more control. Elsie stood beside him, pale and tense. They've locked down the oxygen pumps. They control the food storage. We're losing the station, William. He knew she was right. Every hour, Vance took something else. Power. Air. Control. William clenched his fists. We can't let them finish. Elsie whispered, what do we do? William took a deep breath and turned to face her and the others, Jace, Mira, and Holt. They were the only ones brave enough to stand with him. For people against a warship. We fight back, William said. Jace shook his head. With what? We have no weapons. William looked at the station map on the screen. He traced his finger along the pathways. His mind worked fast. We know the station better than they do, he said. We control the maintenance shafts, the backup power lines, the docking clamps. They think they have us cornered. But they don't. He pointed at the docking bay. They haven't deployed the full ground team yet. If we lock the docking clamps, we trap the Blackthorn in place. They can't send more soldiers if they can't undock. Elsie leaned closer. But the clamps are sealed off. Only Vance has control now. William nodded. Not for long. I can override the controls from the old engineering panel. It's offline, but I know how to bring it back. Mira frowned. And after that, they'll come after us. William met her eyes. I know, but if we don't fight now, we'll lose everything anyway. The team fell silent. The risk was clear. This wasn't just sabotage. This was rebellion. William spoke again, his voice steady and firm. We didn't choose this fight. Earth did, but we choose how it ends. The team split up to prepare. Mira and Holt gathered tools. Elsie watched the soldiers patrol routes. William slipped into the maintenance shafts, crawling through the narrow, dark tunnels. His heart pounded in his chest, but he kept moving. He knew the station better than anyone. Every pipe, every wire, every weakness. He reached the old engineering panel hidden deep behind a service wall. It was dusty and cold, forgotten for years. But William knew it still worked. He powered up quietly. The screen flickered to life. The station's docking systems appeared on the display. Lock status. Open. William's fingers moved quickly. He bypassed Vance's security codes. Sparks flew from the panel, but he didn't stop. Finally, the screen flashed. Docking clamps. Manual lock engaged. The Blackthorn was trapped. William crawled back to the team. His clothes were dirty, his face slick with sweat, but his eyes burned with new determination. It's done, he said. Elsie checked the monitors. The ship's engines just powered up. They're trying to break free. William nodded. They'll know we're behind this soon. We have to be ready. Jace looked worried. What about the others? The families? William's heart ached. He knew they couldn't protect everyone at once. But if they didn't stand now, no one would survive later. We hold this ground, William said. We hold the control center. If they take this, they take everything. The team nodded, fear in their eyes, but strength in their hearts. They had made their choice. There was no turning back. The station trembled again. This time, it wasn't from an asteroid. It was the engines of the Blackthorn, pushing hard to break free of the docking clamps. William Carter watched the control screens closely. Warning lights flashed in red. Docking clamps under pressure. Structural stress rising. He turned to Elsie. How long can the clamps hold? Not long, she said. If they keep pushing, they'll tear the dock apart. William knew Vance was getting desperate. He was trying to pull free before losing full control of the station. But William wasn't ready to let go. Not yet. We need to stop them from overriding the clamps, William said. That means we stop their control team. Jace leaned against the wall. You mean we go after Blackthorn's soldiers? William nodded. We have no choice. Mira checked her small tool belt. It wasn't much, just a welding torch and a metal pipe. They had no real weapons. But they knew the station better than the soldiers did. That was their only advantage. William gathered the team. We moved through the maintenance tunnels again, quiet and fast. We hit their control team before they can break the lock. No one argued. They all knew the risk. They all knew what was coming. They entered the tunnels. The air was thick and heavy. The lights flickered. Every sound felt louder than it should. William led the way. He knew the tunnels by heart. He could feel the vibrations through the metal walls. The Blackthorn was still pushing, still trying to break loose. They reached the lower deck, just above the docking bay. William peered through a vent. He could see them, for Deathworlder soldiers working on a control panel. They were trying to unlock the clamps from the station side. William whispered to his team, "This is it. We take them down now." Jace's voice shook. "We can't fight trained soldiers with tools." William nodded. "Then we don't fight like soldiers." William grabbed a pipe from Mira and started loosening the bolts on the vent cover. The others readied their tools. William counted down on his fingers. 3, 2, 1. He kicked the vent open and jumped down onto the deck below. The others followed fast. The soldiers turned, surprised for just a second. William moved first. He swung the pipe hard, knocking one soldier to the ground. Elsie and Mira tackled another. Jace used his welding torch, forcing the soldiers to step back from the control panel. It was chaos. Heavy boots stomped. Metal clashed. Shouts filled the air. William fought hard, blocking punches, dodging strikes. He knew he couldn't win in a long fight. They had to stop the override. He saw the last soldier reaching for the control panel again. William rushed forward and tackled him to the floor. They struggled, rolling across the deck. The soldier reached for his weapon. William grabbed a loose cable and wrapped it around the soldier's arm, pulling tight. The weapon clattered to the ground. William struck him with the pipe, knocking him out cold. The deck fell silent. All 4 soldiers were down. William stood, breathing hard. His team looked around in shock. They had done it. Mira pointed to the panel. They almost finished the override. William rushed to the controls. His hands moved quickly, resetting the system. The red warning lights stopped flashing. Docking clamps secured. Ship locked in place. William let out a breath of relief. But then, the comm panel on the wall crackled to life. Captain Vance's voice filled the bay. "Security Chief Carter, I know what you've done. You made your choice. You've declared open rebellion against Earth Command." William stared at the comm panel, jaw tight. Vance's voice dropped lower, colder. "You have one chance to surrender. Open the docking clamps and give up control. If you refuse, you will all be treated as enemies of Earth." The team stood frozen. The weight of Vance's threat hung heavy in the air. William stepped forward and pressed the comm button. "No surrender, Captain," he said firmly. "Virex 9 belongs to its people, not to you." He cut the line and turned to his team. "They're coming," he said. The team nodded, and they prepared to make their final stand. The halls of Virex 9 were silent. Too silent. William Carter stood with his team in the docking bay. His eyes scanned the doors, waiting. The moment he spoke to Vance, he knew the fight was coming. Vance was a soldier who followed orders without mercy. He would not let this rebellion go unanswered. Mira broke the silence first. Do you think he'll really attack? William nodded. He has no choice. If we hold the station, Earth loses control. He won't let that happen. Elsie checked her tool again. We're not soldiers, William. William's jaw tightened. No, we're not. But this is still our home. We stand here, or we lose everything. Jay swallowed hard but nodded. Then we stand. Minutes passed. The air grew heavier with each second. William could feel the station's old walls shaking softly. The engines of Blackthorn were still trying to break free. They couldn't. The docking clamps held tight. Suddenly, the lights above flickered. A deep hum filled the bay. Elsie checked the control panel. Her face went pale. They're overriding the station's power grid, she said. They're trying to shut us down. William's heart pounded. He grabbed the comm and opened a channel to the whole station. All workers, listen to me, he said. His voice was steady, but inside he felt the fear rising. Earth is trying to take this station by force. We're not rebels. We're not soldiers. But we have to stand together. Lock your shelter zones. Seal your doors. Do not open for anyone. Stay safe. We will hold the line. He closed the channel and turned back to the team. We hold this bay, no matter what. The doors to the docking bay opened with a hiss. Vance entered with 10 soldiers, all in full armor. Their weapons were ready. They moved slowly, surrounding the team. Vance stood at the front, calm and cold as ever. Security Chief Carter, Vance called out. You've made a mistake. William stood his ground. We're not giving up the station. Vance took another step forward. You're not just risking your own lives. You're risking everyone here. Open the clamps. Surrender now. This is your last warning. William felt his throat tighten. He looked at his team. Mira, Elsie, Jace. They stood firm behind him, even though they had no real weapons, only tools and courage. William looked back at Vance. His voice was low but clear. We're not afraid of you. Vance gave a small nod to his soldiers. Take them. The soldiers moved fast. William and his team braced themselves. Jace swung his welding torch, sparks flying. Mira used her metal pipe to block a soldier's strike. Elsie threw a heavy wrench, hitting one in the helmet. William charged at Vance, knocking him backward. They struggled, fists landing hard blows. Vance was stronger, but William fought with everything he had. Soldiers surrounded them. William's team fought hard, but they were outnumbered. One by one, they were pushed back toward the control panel. William knew they couldn't win by force. He had to end this another way. He broke free from Vance's grip and ran to the panel. His hands flew over the controls. He activated the manual emergency lock. Vance noticed too late. Emergency lock engaged. Docking bay sealed. Ship systems disconnected. The lights flickered. The soldiers stopped moving. The engines of Blackthorn powered down. They were locked out of the station. Vance's face twisted in anger. He grabbed William by the collar. You've signed your own death sentence. William stared back without fear. No, he said quietly. I've saved my people. Alarms echoed through the station. But no more soldiers came. The ship was fully cut off. Vance had no more backup. William shoved Vance away and stood tall. His team gathered behind him, bruised but still standing. Vance looked at them one last time. His voice was cold, but there was something else in his eyes, something William couldn't read. This isn't over, Vance said. William nodded. I know. Vance raised his hand. His soldiers backed off. One by one, they returned to Blackthorn. The heavy airlock doors hissed shut behind them. The station fell silent again. William let out a long breath. His body ached, but he was still standing. So were his friends. So was Virex 9. They had held the line. They had not fallen. The station was quiet again. Too quiet. William Carter stood in the command center, staring at the large screen. Blackthorn hung in space, trapped by the locked docking clamps. Its engines had gone cold. Its weapons were silent. Captain Vance and his soldiers had returned to the ship, but William knew the fight wasn't really over. The people of Virex 9 were safe for now. Elsie entered the room, her face tired but calm. They've stopped trying to break free, she said. Looks like they've given up for the moment. William knew better. They're waiting for new orders. Or reinforcements. Mira and Jace joined them. They looked worn out, covered in dust and bruises, but they stood tall. "What now, William?" Jace asked. "We can't hold them forever." William nodded slowly. He had been thinking about this all night. He knew Earth would send more ships. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe next week. The fight was only beginning. But there was something they could still do. Something that might give them a real chance. "We tell the truth," William said. "We tell every colony what Earth is doing." He walked to the old broadcast system. It hadn't been used in years, but it still worked. He connected it to the long-range beacon. Every station, every ship, and every colony in the Outer Rim would hear this message. William looked at his team one last time. They nodded. He pressed the broadcast button and began to speak. "This is Security Chief William Carter of Virex 9. We sent an SOS after a disaster hit our station. But instead of help, Earth sent a warship. Instead of doctors and engineers, they sent soldiers to take control. We are miners, not rebels. We only asked for help, but Earth saw us as a threat. They tried to silence us. They tried to take our home by force. We stood against them. We are still standing. If you hear this, know that Earth's reach is growing. One day, they will come for you too. But you can choose to stand like we did. You can choose to fight back. Virex 9 stands free. For now. But freedom always comes with a price. We are ready to pay it. Are you?" William ended the message and sent it. The beacon flashed, spreading the signal across space. It was done. Later, William walked to the observation deck. He looked out at the stars. Blackthorn still floated outside, but it felt smaller now, less like a threat and more like a shadow. Elsie joined him. "Do you really think anyone heard us?" she asked softly. William nodded. "They heard, and they'll remember." Behind them, the people of Virex 9 began to rebuild. Workers cleared debris. Families came out of the shelters. There were no cheers, no celebrations, only quiet determination. They had survived. For today, that was enough. William stood in silence, knowing Earth would not forget what they had done. But he also knew they had won something more important than a battle. They had won their right to choose their own future. And when the time came, they would stand again.